Welcome and good morning. Thank you for joining us at Schneps Media's Health and Fiscal Wellness Expo. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Please do note that as attendees, you cannot be seen or heard, but we would certainly love to hear from you. So please go ahead and feel free to use the chat function and the Q&A function to be able to go ahead and ask questions of our experts. We are going to save some time at the end to be able to ask those questions. So please feel free to do so. I also want you to know that this will be recorded and we will be able to make it available to you so that you'll be able to see it again and also share it with others that have not been able to see it. It's certainly going to be some valuable time, so I'm sure you'll want to share it with others. And we'll just get started in a couple of minutes. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us this morning at Schneps Media's Health and Fiscal Wellness Expo. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Please note you can ask questions through the chat function and the Q&A function. I'm actually going to use the chat function right now, and I'm going to say good morning to everybody. So you can see it right there, and that is one of the two places you can go ahead and ask questions. Feel free to ask questions throughout. We will save some time at the end to be able to answer those questions and have our experts respond. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, to Schneps Media's Health and Fiscal Wellness Expo. My name is Elizabeth Aloni, and I'm with Schneps Media. Schneps Media is the largest local media company in New York metro area. We publish over 70 newspapers, magazines, websites, webinars, podcasts, and events throughout Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Westchester, Long Island, and Philadelphia. Today, we're thrilled to be able to bring to you an expo a little bit different than we usually do. Because of COVID, obviously, we are going to be virtual, which means you can be in the safety and comfort of your own home while we bring to you some incredible experts. And we really are thrilled to have you join us this morning for an informative panel with leading experts who can discuss how to plan and safeguard your future and the future of your loved ones. We'll learn about caring for ourselves and our families in regard to finances, health, and more. We want to celebrate life as we age, and our guests are going to show us just how to do that. We are thrilled to be able to have with us representatives from the Grand Rehabilitation System, OCLI, Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, Forest Hills Financial, Home Instead Senior Care. As I mentioned earlier, you can go ahead and use the chat function and the Q&A function to be able to ask questions. So don't be shy. These questions we would love to have from all of you. So also a nice thing is to stay until the end and make sure that you do, because we have a gift basket that is from giftbasket.com. It's called All About Me Basket, and we are going to be raffling it off at the end of today. So to get us started, I'd like to start off by welcoming Kim Sedano. She's a licensed nursing home administrator who has been with the Grand Healthcare System since 2019. She's a licensed clinical social worker with a master's degree from Adelphi University, and we are pleased to have her with us. Welcome, Kim. You just need to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Grand Rehab and Nursing at Great Neck is committed to the safety and well-being of its residents, staff, and visitors. The Grand administers exceptional clinical care and provides amenities to promote health and wellness with nurturing guest services and the most progressive health care in a skilled nursing and rehab setting. We had a short video that I share with Elizabeth. Could that be shared?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and share that video now. Bear with us for 1 second.
Thank you.
Oh,
The audio is a little off, but you certainly get the care and support. The world is different, but the Grand's care is exceptional and certainly the best. So the Grand's at Great Neck is it's deeply ingrained in the local community of Great Neck. We urge our community members to follow all the COVID-19 guidelines of mask or face coverings while in public, frequent hand hygiene, which we've learned is the most important thing, or one of the most important things, and practicing social distancing. It's our hope that our community members do not miss routine or follow-up appointments with primary care physicians or healthcare providers, as these appointments can prevent any decline in clinical issues or diagnosis. So the Grand remains focused on the health and safety of our residents and staff and our visitors, with strict adherence to the New York State Department of Health and CDC directives. So we thank you for allowing us to showcase that short video and being part of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. You know, when I was looking at the website, I was blown away by how really beautiful the facility is too.
Thank you.
You know, I noticed something that was really special. You know, you have this theme, get better, go home philosophy. Can you just share with us a bit about that?
Sure. You know, visitors, we have some restrictions in place, but our community within the facility is alive and vibrant and very much well. And we want our residents to come for their short-term rehab with a focus on discharge planning. Our discharge planning starts at admission. Get all the services that are needed and a great discharge plan so that our residents could be well at home and do not have a rehospitalization or any complications post-discharge. So the Grand's motto is get better, go home. We want a swift recovery for our residents so that they can return to their lives in the community.
I love that. Really taking care of people in the best way possible while they need it and getting them strong enough so they can go home. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. If anyone has any questions for Kim, we would certainly love to answer those questions. You know, thinking about all of the medical care that one needs as we age, you know, insurance is of utmost importance. So I'm really thrilled that we have Lauren Garner here from Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, Empire has been in the insurance business for over 90 years, and Lauren has been with Empire Blue Cross and Blue Shield for the past 12 years. However, she's been helping individuals with their Medicare needs for the past 13 benefit years. While Lauren is an employee of Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield and has worked with Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield options the entire time, she started her career working with Medicare recipients as an outreach representative and speaker, where she helped 65-plus-year-old individuals apply for prescription drug plans assistance since 2003. While working with individuals, Lauren also works with various businesses and organizations to assist their current and retired employees and members with their Medicare plan options once they turn 65 years old or qualify for Medicare. Lauren is very accessible and well-versed with all things Medicare related. Welcome, Lauren. So happy to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of great information.
Fantastic. You know, I know there are things that people want to be aware of and take advantage of before the end of the year in regard to Medicare. Can you share that important information with us?
Absolutely. So we actually just wrapped up something called the annual enrollment period. And that's the time of year where anyone and everyone who currently has Medicare and a Medicare plan, specifically Medicare Advantage plan or supplemental plan, has the opportunity to assess what type of insurance they have, assess their finances, assess their health, and figure out if it still makes sense to stay with the current plan they have or switch. We are approaching something called the open enrollment period, which begins January 1st, which is also going to allow people to have another opportunity to make a change if they feel the plan they chose doesn't best fit their needs.
How often can one change plans?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'll answer that question two ways. There are specific enrollment periods. As I said, you have the annual enrollment period, which begins October 15th, and it just ended December 7th. So that's one enrollment period. You have something called the open enrollment period, which, as I mentioned, begins January 1st, and it will end March 31st. With that being said, right now we're in a trying time for a lot of people. And there are certain things called special enrollment periods. Oh, do you hear an echo?
You know what?
So there are things called,
do that. Okay.
there are special enrollment periods which will allow people to make a one-time change throughout the year, anytime throughout the year. So that's, I'd say that's one of the great things with about having an actual person to speak to, because if you do qualify for that special enrollment period, there's a way to figure out how to do that.
That's a great point. That's something we really are so incredible with, is being able to help your clients transitioning. How do you work with your clients to help transition there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I hear an echo. I don't know if it's just on my end.
That is strange. I apologize for that. So what I was saying was how do you transitioning Medicare?
How do I assist them?
Yes.
Okay, so, well, one, I will say I'm local. I'm from New York. I'm from the area. So the majority of my clients do live in New York and in the tri-state area or Long Island. So as you mentioned, I am very accessible. So usually we do face-to-face appointments where I would meet with people individually. I also have seminars and of course webinars where I'm able to speak to whether it's one person or a group of people to assess their specific needs, whether it's finance, whether it's health, medical needs. And then I would figure out, okay, what plan makes the most sense for your specific needs.
Terrific. So people can actually call on you to be able to ask a question.
What plan makes the most sense for your specific needs? Yeah, correct.
Actually call on you. And I do apologize that there is some feedback here. So we're gonna do the best we can to move through that. That sounds a little bit better. Can you talk to the benefit of working with Empire, Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
Absolutely. So one of the benefits is, not to toot my own horn, but you get me. You get that one-on-one. What I will say is that, as I mentioned, this is a trying time for a lot of people, you know, just due to the fact of what's going on in the world. Working with Empire, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, specifically when you have Medicare insurance, it's great because you get that hand-holding experience. Okay, you don't just have to worry about calling an 800 number and kind of being thrown out there to figure out what to do. I mean, 12 years ago, before I got in this industry, 13 years ago, I didn't know what Medicare was, as I'm sure most people that are not turning 65 in the near future do. It's a completely different world for a lot of people, and it can be overwhelming. I get that, and that's why I'm here to pretty much do all the hard work, do all the legwork. So I'd say the best thing about working with and joining a plan like Empire is that you do get that one-on-one. You get that concierge service, and you get a local person, you know, versus having to deal with, who knows, just an 800 number, and not that, you don't get that individual care that I know a lot of people love.
I love that you use the word concierge, because that's what I was thinking about the whole time when you're talking. It's like really having first-class service and really not having the fear, because it's hard enough going to the doctor and making sure your appointments are right and taking care of your health. To feel overwhelmed by insurance can be too much for so many people. So to be able to have someone to turn to and be able to ask for advice is really invaluable.
It is. It really is.
You know, we do have a question from one of our attendees, if that would be okay with you. Shadina had a question about insurance. She said, many US residents don't have insurance because they're not citizens. Even if some states create insurance to assist this, it can only be used in hospitals. Are there any plans are there any plans in place to create where non-citizens can purchase health insurance so they can see a doctor who's in the plan's network?
So I'll say that everyone's specific situation is very unique. With that being said, there are ways to get onto Medicare. Just rule of thumb, as long as you've worked in the United States for 10 years, or they like to say 40 quarters, you do qualify for Medicare. However, if that does not apply to you, there are still ways to get Medicare or Medicaid. Some people may have to pay a little bit more than someone who may have worked for 10 years. Some people may be within that category where they have to pay, but then we'd be able to get them at sort of a subsidy where we can sort of bypass that payment. So to answer your question, yes, there are ways. I can't say it's a guarantee for everyone, but if you have any specific examples, I know at the end, Elizabeth's going to give out our information. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to look at your situation or if there's anyone specific you're referring to and see if there's a way that we can help.
Fantastic. Yes, because there are so many nuances, I'm sure, to be able to discuss. So thank you for that. And we will share Lauren's information, so you'll be able to get in contact with her and ask any personal questions you have, but you also can feel free to ask some questions here, and whatever we can address here, we certainly will. And Shadina said thank you. She appreciated what you had to share with her. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
Really important things to think about and make sure that we focus on. So next up, I have a doctor from OCLI, Dr. Valerie Trubnik, and she was unable to join us today, but I do have a video that I am going to play because I was able to interview her yesterday. So please hold 1 second and we're going to get that going for you. So I'm thrilled to be able to bring to you some important information because eyesight is such an important piece of enjoying life. Keeping your eyes healthy with age is really so critical for you to be able to continue to enjoy your life the way that you want to. And OCLI is a world-renowned multi-location ophthalmological practice offering eye care services. Their practitioners are some of the most respected physicians in the region, earning their reputations as esteemed innovators and complication solvers. So I'm thrilled today that we have with us Dr. Valerie Trubnik. Welcome, Dr. Trubnik.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Terrific. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Trubnik. She is a board certified ophthalmologist who's completed advanced specialty training in both the medical and surgical management of glaucoma.
A lot of us are doing work remotely and there's Zoom meetings, and a lot of children are doing schooling remotely, whether they're full-time or part-time. So we kind of have to adapt to the new world that we live in. The most common advice that I give to patients is take breaks. So inevitably, if you just stare at a screen, your ability to blink decreases. So you're blinking less often because you're constantly staring. And so I encourage them to take breaks. So ophthalmologists typically say there's the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, close your eyes or look away 20 feet for 20 seconds. Now that's hard to do. So if you're doing a full day, I don't know how realistic that really is. If you're doing a full day on the screen, 8 to 10 hour day, to look away every 20 minutes. So I say set an alarm every 1 to 2 hours. Keep some lubricating drops or just basic artificial tears, whatever brand you can find in the pharmacy. Put a drop in, close your eyes, look away. And then in the evening, if you can, maybe read a book or do something else where you're not constantly staring at the screen.
That's really good advice. And even just thinking about it, knowing that you need to make the time to look away and actually schedule it, like you're saying, set an alarm.
Right.
Because we may think about it and then a whole day can go by and we forget. Yeah, but we haven't taken a break. So I think that alarm idea is really a great one. It seems like, wow, it's setting an alarm, but it's really important.
Yeah, because you just get involved in your work and you forget, we're busy, same with kids doing school, and then they finish their schoolwork and they go and play video games. So it just never ends. Yeah. So you want to kind of schedule time where, very important, especially for children, to be outside, regardless, of how cold it is. You just kind of want to get out there for a little bit and reduce the screen time to the best of your ability. The other question that I get asked a lot about is the blue blocking glasses. That's like a very hot trend.
Yeah, they do
Yeah, so I would say most ophthalmologists do view it as a trend. There's no evidence to show that it makes a difference. But I will say anecdotally, I've had patients and friends who have raved about it. So my response is, if it makes you feel better, by all means.
But don't skip looking away.
Correct.
Don't make
That's going to make the most difference. Yes.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Because I have been seeing it all over.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Sure.
Tell me, what is the difference between an ophthalmologist and optometrist?
Yeah, so it's an important distinction, and a lot of people are really not sure about it, and that's okay. It's okay to ask and find out. So an ophthalmologist is a medical doctor. It's a doctor that completes 4 years of medical school or osteopathic school, and then we go on to do internship and residency and then fellowship. So it's a lot of training, 12 to 13 years of training, and we specialize in diagnosis and treatment of eye disease. And a lot of us do surgery and lasers as well. Optometrists go to an optometry school. They can treat and diagnose eye disease as well. They don't do surgery, and in New York State, they don't do lasers either. And they complete optometric school versus medical school. So a lot of us can diagnose other medical conditions, and I often do in a lot of patients.
They say the eyes are your window to your soul.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah, so it's really important to make sure that you're seeing someone who's trained. I mean, look at all the things that you've done to be educated, and how important that is, especially with our precious eyes.
Yes.
So, obviously there's a difference between an ophthalmologist and an optometrist, that very often you would find maybe in an eyeglass store, an optometrist. Why, beyond also the obvious ophthalmologists that are trained, what about OCLI is important for people to consider as opposed to going to an eyeglass store to check their eyes?
Great question. So obviously I'm biased, and I really love the group that I work for. I've been there for, I think this is my 8th year at this point. And there are many things that I think make us stand out, and even stand out from other ophthalmology practices. First off, I feel like the doctors that we hire, because that's really what makes us, or the doctors that we collaborate with that join our practice, are really top notch. And I feel like if I go on vacation or I leave for a certain period of time, because I'm always constantly worried about my patients, I can leave my patients with any one of these doctors and feel comfortable and secure that they will take excellent care of them, because they're very well trained. They have excellent bedside manner. So I'm proud to work with these people, truly. And even the people behind the scenes, the technicians, the front desk, I love coming to my offices every day, really. And so I think patients love being there as well. Because they're friendly and they get good care. And finally, I think that it's very important to be in a practice that is has all the latest and greatest technology and is keeping up with everything new that's going on. And I think we do have that. So laser cataract surgery, premium lenses, a lot of the newer procedures like glaucoma procedures that are just coming out. We are some of the people that get to do this first, that get sort of first dibs on it. So we get to pass that on to our patients, and they get to experience the benefits of it. So, we do research if the patients want to participate. So I think it's a very multifaceted practice, and again, proud to work there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you definitely have me sold on it. How often should we visit an ophthalmologist? And at what, is there a particular age that should become more frequent? How should we plan?
I think definitely at least once a year. And I think that's true for any age. Starting maybe, at age, let's say 10, unless you're having problems, then you want to come back sooner. And I usually, if I see my general patients, I don't have that many of them. I usually, have patients that have glaucoma or cataracts or other eye diseases. But I do have some patients that I see as comprehensive. And I usually just say, come back once a year. There's nothing going on, but you do want to keep up with it. Even if you feel good, if you see great, there are things that I've diagnosed in completely asymptomatic patients that have saved their lives or saved their eyes. So definitely something important to do, just kind of like as a physical.
Right. So it's an annual checkup, just like you would anything else for yourself, to make sure that you're scheduling that. Wonderful. So I wanted to ask you one more question, just, maybe an insider tip, since we're so lucky to have you here with us. Is there something that you tell maybe friends or your family, a special thing about eyes and eye care that maybe you can share with us today, and about our eyes as we get older? If there's something, special tip you could give us.
I guess the tip that I have is kind of, you have to know who to see, So I do think word of mouth is very important, but also, if it's coming from a doctor and the doctor is saying, hey, I think this person is amazing, they're a fantastic surgeon, and they're a great doctor, then go see them, because I feel like we have inside info. So that's kind of what I joke with my family and friends about. And also in terms of cataracts, I see a lot of patients in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on, that kind of say, oh, my vision is fine, it's great. And they kind of don't know what they're missing. They have cataracts, they don't realize it. Cataracts have been associated with increased morbidity and mortality because patients fall, they, God forbid, break a hip or something else, they end up in the hospital. Definitely don't want to go down that road. And so it's very important to get checked out. And if you have cataracts, consider, cataract surgery. Not only is it going to make your life better, but it's also going to decrease any problems that you may have in the future.
That's a great tips. When you said, it just seemed like hit a nail on the head, was when you said about, you don't know, you don't realize, like, you're so used to seeing the way you see, you don't even know that you could be seeing even better and feeling even better. So that's really like an eye opener, no pun intended.
Yeah, I have so many patients who have said, I didn't realize my room was pink. I thought it was beige,
Wow.
and like the colors are just so much more vivid. They're able to see things they've never seen before. It's really eye-opening and life-changing. So something to consider.
Well, absolutely. Now is the perfect time, because we're going through so much. We don't want to miss a second, an ounce, an iota of beauty that is there. So, so very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Trubnick, for spending some time with us. And we will share contact information to get in touch with you and OCLI with our attendees, so that they can go ahead and make sure that they're scheduling their yearly. I am definitely putting that down to make sure that I do that, because I didn't realize how important that was. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a great evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So some of you certainly had some questions, and what I will do is make sure that you can get in touch with Dr. Trubnick, so that you'll be able to ask those questions of her. Now I want to talk about planning. As we age, we want to make sure that we have the right documents in place that's going to be able to protect ourselves and our family. And we're very lucky today to have Ron Fatula, who is a top elder care attorney, and he's with Ronald Fatula and Associates. So Ron, can you share with us what are some of the important documents that everyone should make sure they have?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And what a great group. By the way, I have my blue blockers right here. Anecdotally, I actually love them. And what a great group. Medicare information. And Kim knows I love the Grand and my Great Neck office. We're neighbors right down the street, and we refer clients to them all the time because it's such a great facility. So thank you for putting this together, Elizabeth. It's great. I'm actually going to share my screen, if that's okay. I have a short PowerPoint. So in the next few minutes, let me just bring that up here. All right. So in the next couple of minutes, I just want to go over documents that everyone should have. It's so interesting. Of course, I'm the estate planning and elder law attorney, but you want to get your entire team together. You're going to hear from Forest Hills Financial Group. Your financial advisor is absolutely crucial. I think it all starts with the attorney that gets the team together, but you could do it any which way you like, but it's very important to plan. And it's so interesting. I got a call yesterday from an attorney that I've known maybe for the last 25 years. And I thought he had all his planning documents in place, and his kids all got COVID, and he's He said he's quarantining himself, but he's saying, I can't believe I really don't have these documents. I'm telling you, even the shoemaker, you know that saying, even the shoemaker may not have his or her own shoes the right way. So even attorneys don't do this, but don't fall into the trap. My friend is lucky. We're doing these documents today, and just in case something happens. But we're seeing, I don't think anybody listening to this doesn't know somebody who's passed away from the virus, who's gotten it, who's gotten very sick, who wasn't ill or been on a ventilator. We all know people who've been through this. All I could say is the pandemic is awful. On a legal side, I see a pandemic in another sense, in that so many people listen to seminars like this, they get useful information, but many times don't act. All I'm saying is there will never be a better time to plan and get your documents in place than now. Typically, the 5 most important documents are your last will and testament, a special type of power of attorney for planning, a healthcare proxy and living will, and a living trust. So you should know by now that a will, last will, sets forth where your assets go when you pass away. But your will should be a little bit different because you're different. Your scenario is different. Is it a second marriage or a third marriage? Is there an issue with a child? Is there a special need? Do you have a child that is not in a good marriage? You may want to tailor your will and your trust differently for a number of reasons. So make sure you have a will, make sure you review it every couple of years. And number 3, if there's an event, if someone has passed away, if someone has gotten ill, or there's a situation, a financial situation that you did not anticipate, make sure you see the attorney, such as myself, to redo the last will and testament. Look, if you don't have a will, your assets go where the state thinks you may want it to go. But it may be nonsensical for you to have your assets go to a spouse, for example, that we might have gotten on Medicaid, or to a child that you've disowned, or to a child outright with special needs, or to a child that can't manage his or her money for whatever reason. You got to be careful. Make sure that your will is, exactly what you want and not what New York State wants, because these slides will be available to you if you want, but this slide basically shows what will happen if you don't have a will. Number 2, a specially drafted power of attorney with a special rider to that power of attorney called the statutory gifts rider, where we might add about 50-ish extra provisions to that power to make sure that if you should become incapacitated, and we're seeing this so often lately because of the pandemic, because individuals are not getting the care they need, because some of the hospitals are saying maybe it's safer to not come in, and then they have a care need. We're seeing this all the time. Get your will together, your power of attorney. Now, your power of attorney will let someone else, someone that you handpick, make your decisions for you, your financial decisions. So your financial life could go on without going to court for a guardianship action. Who needs that? Who needs a court breathing down your neck? Why don't you do the planning in advance, be proactive, and name someone that you want to make your financial decisions and do planning for you later on. That is not a substitute for doing planning right now, though. Healthcare proxy is very important. Healthcare proxy is like a power of attorney, but instead of financial issues, a healthcare proxy appoints someone else to make your healthcare decisions if you can't make them. And you're going to get a form of this power of attorney anytime you're admitted into a hospital or even a facility such as the Grand. It's part of the admissions packet. But do it in advance. Don't rush it. You know, I know clients say, oh my God, I got this packet and I'm being admitted into the hospital. I got to think about it. Do it in advance and let the attorney add a couple of extra important provisions to that power of attorney and that healthcare proxy. And last but not least, we have living trusts. Living trusts are trusts that you sign right now while you're living, and they're valid right now the moment you sign them. And with a good living trust, we can protect assets for Medicaid. We have new Medicaid rules where there's a new look back for Medicaid home care, and that's coming about very shortly. You're going to want to protect assets. And a trust is the best way to do it for so many reasons. A good living trust will also protect assets for estate taxes, gift taxes, capital gains taxes, sometimes income taxes as well. And it will avoid probate and make sure that your assets go exactly where you want them to go. And at the same time, you can get a benefit from the assets in that trust, even if it's a Medicaid trust or a trust for estate planning. We could structure it so that you get the income or whatever you want to get from that trust, but you'll have the protection of your assets within that living trust. So this is a very, very short synopsis of the 5 most important documents. And you should know that the governor has extended the time and is now permitting us to have all of these documents signed while you're quarantining in your living room, or you just want to be careful and you can stay at home. Have all these documents, including the will and the trust, signed, sealed, delivered, notarized, and witnessed from the comfort of your home. So we have that. The pandemic has at least done one good thing and has starting to let us do these documents virtually. There is a bill that's pending. The governor has not signed it yet to permit us to do virtual witnessing and notarization on a permanent basis, but this is still pending the governor's signature. So here's my contact information. I'm going to stop sharing my slides, but Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. All of this information is so very important. If somebody has some of these documents in place, would you recommend that they review them over time, or are they kind of like a one and done?
Many times it's a one and done, but many times it's not. So it behooves everyone to review these documents a couple of times. I'd say every 2 to 3 years would be a good measure. And it's a very good idea to do it even sooner than that. If there's a life-changing event with a financial situation, a death, or an illness in the family, there are many reasons to review it even sooner with the attorney.
And we are going to share your contact information with everyone so that they can get additional information. And I also want everyone to know that we are taking a deeper dive into living trusts. We have an upcoming webinar on December 16th with Ron Petula, talking about understanding the power of living trusts. You can go to schnepsmedia.com/webinars, and you can go ahead and sign up for that. And that's a full 45 minutes of diving into living trusts. You also can go to the Schneps Media YouTube channel, where we have Ron talking about many other topics. But obviously best is to reach out to him and his company directly, and see how you can secure what you need. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth.
So as we're preparing these documents to prepare ourselves and our families, so many of us are experiencing unprecedented anxiety involving our financial lives, planning for our living future. So luckily, we do have an expert here today from Forest Hills Financial. I want to welcome Stephen Delabovi. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, almost everybody.
Yes, almost afternoon. I want to tell you a little bit about Stephen. He is a managing associate with Forest Hills Financial Group, and Stephen strives to grow personally and professionally, serving clients while recruiting and developing new talent to help grow the firm. His enthusiasm is contagious, and I can vouch for that personally. Stephen graduated from Long Island University in New York with a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in management. Stephen began his professional career as a fitness director and then general manager at the Training Station Athletic Club in Port Washington. And he found great satisfaction in helping people achieve their fitness goals so they could enjoy the quality of life they aspired to. When he was offered an opportunity to enter the financial services industry with Northwestern Mutual, Stephen realized he could continue to have a positive impact on people's lives by helping them achieve financial goals. What a great combination.
I don't know where you got that from, but I got to thank that person for writing it. I don't know how to follow that up.
Well, I'm sure you're going to impress and not let anybody down for sure. So, Stephen, tell me, what age should one start planning for retirement? And if we haven't done so, is it too late?
Great question. Things we hear all the time. The reality is, and I hate to just peg it to retirement, people need to just start developing good habits around their money as soon as they possibly can, right? There are very few things in our financial world that we really can control, right? Everybody's always watching the market, and every day this year, it's like a new high, a new low. We have to worry about the things that we can control, and what we can control is our ability to try to save money. So if people get into good savings habits early, the rest of it, is as cliche as this sounds, really will work itself out. So if you haven't started, saving, it's never too late.
That's good to know. That's good to know. So tell me, how does working with a financial advisor help? Why does someone need an advisor?
That's a great question, one we hear often as well. You know what, I have to tell you, there's probably two major pitfalls, if you will, that people fall into in their financial world. And it's really our job to try to help avoid them. And they're really simple. The first one is that people, when it comes to their financial situation, can be a little disorganized, right? People have some stuff through work. They have some stuff through maybe a family friend. They have some stuff that maybe their parents helped them set up. And they never really sat down, and to Ron's point earlier, and kind of put everything in the same place. They understand how everything is working and if they're working in conjunction with each other. So the first thing we try to do is help organize our clients or the people that seek us out, because that's crucial. And the second one that I say we see often is prioritization, right? People are doing things, right? They have this stuff to work. They're putting money here, they're putting money there, but not often intentional. So we try to help people that make decisions intentionally. So if we not only know and understand what we have and know and understand where we want to go, we now start being intentional with those dollars.
And isn't that a wonderful peace of mind too? To really know where you are and where you're going can take such a burden off. Because I think, money obviously is such a critical component of our lives and staying healthy and for our future. So what a great peace of mind to know that that's all in place.
Yeah, I think personally, maybe a little biased. A lot of what advisors do has become commoditized a little bit, right? People can go online and do certain things. I think the biggest value of having somebody is to, I think Lauren's point earlier, having somebody, right? You see something on the news and it's nice to be able to shoot an email or a phone call and say, hey, I heard this. What does this really mean? And a lot of what we do is behavioral coaching and making sure people understand what they have and making them feel confident. Because you're right. Everybody wants financial freedom. Now, what that might mean to you might be different than what it means to me or Ron or Lauren or Kim. But the reality is we all want to not have to worry about money. Money is enough of a burden, as you said, and it kind of controls everything in our lives. So if you can have a little bit of freedom as it pertains to your money, I think we've done you a tremendous service.
Great point. Great point. So tell me, Stephen, how do you work with a client? Let's say I decided I want to get my finances together. I reach out to you. What should I expect?
Sure. The first call, I like to call it our meet and greet. I take the most time in those meetings, and it's really a conversation. So for example, Elizabeth, if you called me, the first thing I'd say is, hey, what made you call me? Right? A lot of times people call for a reason, or they were told to, or their friend said something, or something happened to them, or they got scared about something, or they read something. So we always want to get a baseline of where the person is coming from, what's important to them, what makes them tick. And then from there, the relationship expands. We start doing a deeper dive into what they have, where they want to be, et cetera. But, the first conversation has to be, who's the other person on the other side of the table and what's important to them.
That's so critical because it's really not a one size fits all. It really is as unique as each individual is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that gets lost a lot, right? Oh, to have an advisor, I need to have X amount of money, or a wealth manager, I should have this amount of money. Everybody's different. Everybody needs different pieces of advice, and everybody has different goals. So no, keeping that in mind, it has to be paramount.
You have such a commitment to helping individuals remain healthy in their lives, whether that was physically, financially. What is unique about your vision and when you work with your clients?
So thank you very much. I have a passion for people. People always say to me that, like you said earlier, you've only met us several times, but hopefully I'm infectious. One of the principals at our firm said something to me many, many years ago that always stuck with me. And it was something I was doing subtly without even realizing it. But I always want to leave people better than when I met them, whatever that means. Whether that means they feel more confident in what they've done, whether that means that they're excited about something we're doing. I want people to leave with a smile. There's I know I'm full of cliches this morning or this afternoon, but they always say people don't remember what you say, but how you said it and how you made them feel. So I take pride in that. I think that's the most important thing I can do with my approach to working with clients. If they leave with a sense of security, a sense of freedom, a sense of clarity, what we did is really secondary.
Wow, that's really a great way to think about it. Thank you. And I think, what we're seeing from these wonderful experts that we have today is that it's really about putting together the best team. Whether that be Kim, because we need rehabilitation, or Lauren, because we need the right insurance, or Ron, because we want to plan what are the key elements that we need for our future, and even financially, that, really having the right people, it's almost like everyone can have their team of experts that can guide them. And what a wonderful dream to have all of you. So before we end, I do want to use some of these questions that people have been asking, but I also want to go around and ask the question that I asked Dr. Trubnick about, which was having each of you here is such a gift. So I wanted to go around to each of you and ask you, what is something that you tell your family, your friends, a little insider tip that you can give our attendees today? And I want to get started with Kim. Kim, what would be an insider tip that you would give to people that they can kind of come away with a special jewel from you today?
Well, I like the idea of getting your affairs in order beforehand, before you need healthcare services, before you have to make decisions regarding Medicare insurance. Speak to your family about what your wishes are, and appoint that person to make decisions for you, or to have these difficult conversations. We know that families are complex, our medical needs are complex, so have the discussion with your families. Get your affairs in order.
That's a great point. Something to think about for the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even if we're Zooming with our families, it's really a nice opportunity to make some plans and discuss these things so that when we do need them, they're there for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great point. Thank you, Kim. Lauren, what is your special tip for our attendees?
So I'll say my special tip is something that I also advise family, friends, people that are close to me. A saying that is very popular is you only live life once. Okay, but the reality is we live life every day. Okay. With that said, I'm all about streamlining. I'm all about making things easier. So if I can make your life easier, or this goes for all aspects in life, in my opinion, if you can do something to make your life easier so you can enjoy your life more, why not do it? And when it comes to specifically insurance, that's why I'm here. I'm here to do all the legwork. I'm here to do all the hard work. I'm here to do all the major thinking and make your life easier.
My God, that's a godsend, honestly. It's like when you think about being able to reach out to each of you and say, oh my God, my insurance life is handled, my medical care is handled, my wills and all that is handled, my financials are handled. I mean, whew, really incredible. Thank you so much, Lauren. That was powerful. Ron, what about you?
Here we go. I'm going to piggyback on basically what Kim said. In real estate, they say it's location, location, location. With what I do, it's plan, 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 and do it in advance. The saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And what I'm seeing a lot, especially with the virus, a lot of people are superstitious. They say, I'm I'm a little nervous. Like I'll come into your office and sign a trust or a will, and maybe something's going to happen to me because I had this in order. Doesn't work that way. It actually works the opposite. Be proactive, plan, and just get it done. And I guarantee you, because this happens all the time, clients walk out of my office, even my virtual office, much more relieved after they've done their planning.
I can absolutely attest to that, Ron. I work with one of your associates, and I have to say it was like on my mind and on my shoulders. And when I did it, sure, it was an emotional experience, but I felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. So you are so right. Knowing that those things are in place and that you're protecting your family and your loved ones, I mean, it really is a tremendous feeling.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Stephen, last but not least, I want to hear your expert insight.
Sure. What I want to, if I could give one piece, it would be just have the conversation. Money's a topic that people tend to avoid. To Ron's point, plan, but don't avoid it. Deal with it. Address it head on, whether you think it's good, bad, or ugly. Have a conversation with somebody. Don't be embarrassed and don't be shy, because we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you. So whatever it might be, there's no bad questions. At least that's what my grandmother used to tell me. So reach out and ask. And if we can't help, we'll find somebody who can. But you'll at least have some peace of mind knowing that you did your best and you at least asked.
I love it. Get started. And everyone here who's an attendee did that first step by just being here. And now the next step is open to you to be able to reach out to each of our experts. And I will, as I shared, provide contact information for all of them. You'll get an email tomorrow with all of that good information. We're recording this and it will be available on the Schneps Media YouTube channel for you to be able to watch again and share. So this information really is an opening to next steps. We do have some questions. I know that we're coming towards the end of time here, but I did want to be able to ask a few of our questions, if that's okay with our panelists. So I have a question here. Ron, for you, if a parent consistently names a child as next of kin on every document, can that person automatically become the power of attorney for any situation?
Only if you name that individual on the power of attorney. There's nothing that's automatic. You have to proactively have the document drafted. No two powers of attorneys are the same for our clients. So get the power of attorney drafted the way it should be and name the individual again. It is not automatic.
That's very important that you share that, because people sometimes think it's just a done and it's not. You must set it up. It's why these legal documents are so important.
Even if it's a spouse doesn't automatically get the right to make certain healthcare decisions for you just because you're married. So you need to get all these documents in place.
Terrific. Thank you. Lauren, we have a question about Medicare. Someone wanted to know, is there a time limit to sign up?
Yes and no. So I will say that there are set enrollment periods throughout the year, but there are also special enrollment periods, a variety of special enrollment periods throughout the year where people can take that opportunity to enroll, disenroll, choose a new plan.
Terrific. And they can reach out to you to be able to ask those kind of questions about when those times are available.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Terrific. So this question, I'm not exactly sure if it's a Lauren question or a Ron question or even a financial question for Stephen, but someone asked, his name is Joel. He asked, as a grandfather, his impression is that he can gift up to $15,000 per year for child or grandchild to get around the 5-year look back period. Is it still an advantage to gift over $15,000 per year, and why?
I think that's my question, actually, because it's Medicaid planning. Boy, that is so wrong. So be very careful. Apples and oranges. We're allowed to gift tax free. It's called the annual exclusion gift. Only for gift taxes up to $15,000 per individual per calendar year. So if you're a wealthier individual, now is a perfect time to do this, and you could do it again after January 1. But that has nothing to do with the look back, absolutely nothing. If Medicaid sees that there are gifts within the 5-year look back or the soon to be 2.5-year look back for Medicaid home care, they're going to penalize you. So if you made 100 free $15,000 gifts for gift tax purposes, Medicaid's going to penalize you if it's part of the penalty. So apples and oranges, please be very careful. See an elder law attorney. We would love to help you out, but make sure you get guidance.
Terrific, thank you. We have a question that just came in from Kathleen for Stephen. She says, I have a diverse portfolio of margin, secondary, primary, and option contracts. My corporate family has a monolithic structure, this sounds complicated, and needs assistance navigating a modern, borderline, performant corporate client from top bottom management. So I think that Kathleen should reach out to you. Because I think she has some very specific questions. She wanted to know the last 2 years, she brought back the CRA back to business. And she has some very, is this something that you can help her with, I guess is the question, going through this, it looks like a corporate family structure and helping with the finances in that regard, Stephen.
Yeah, I was just reading the last line. She needs to start planning. Yeah, absolutely. By all means, Kathleen, reach out. Let's chat about it. Let's see what's going on behind the curtain, and we'll take it from there.
Terrific, terrific. So what I want to do is just before we give out the prize, I'd like to just go to each of my guests and ask you just to say your website. Again, this is don't be nervous, attendees. All of this is going to be emailed to you, but I think some people might be eager and want to reach out even before tomorrow. So I just want to go to each of you just to say your website and all the rest of the contact information we'll provide. Kim, do you want to get us started with that?
We are at thegrandhealthcare.com. My email address is the first letter of my first name and my last name, ksedano@thegrandhealthcare.com. And I look forward to hearing from everyone.
Thank you. Lauren?
The best way to get information in regards to Empire Blue Cross and Blue Shield would be going to empireblue.com. If you'd like to get in contact with me directly or reach out, we call it microsites, to my direct website, you can email me at my name, lauren.granger@empireblue.com. And of course, the best way to get me would always be phone, because I have it attached to my hip. Whether you want to text me, call me, send me a picture, 347-853-0878.
Great, and I just put all this information in the chat function as well for everybody. They can pull that. Again, I will email it, so please don't worry about that. Ron?
Sure. Our website is www.elderlaw-newyork.com or fatulalaw.com, but that's too hard to spell. So elderlaw-newyork.com.
Terrific. Thank you, Ron. And Stephen?
Our website is FHFG, Forest Hills Financial Group, FHFG.com. And my email, all that's there. But my phone number is 646-376-4269.
Fantastic. It's all in the chat for you to grab it now, or you can wait till tomorrow. But I do want, before we go, to just flip through and see who our lucky winner is of the gift basket that was donated by giftbasket.com. So drum roll, please. And the winner is Michelle Minaya. Michelle, we will get in touch with you, follow up via email, and congratulations. You have won the gift basket that's called All About Me. And I hope that you all did, she's saying, oh my God, thank you. Congratulations, congratulations. I want to thank our incredible guests, our experts, Kim, Stephen, Lauren, Ron, and Dr. Trubnick, who is here via video. Your information was invaluable. I want to thank our attendees for being a part of this wonderful conversation. I hope that this opened the door for you to take the next step, whether it be for your health, insurance, elder law information, financial. And we look forward to seeing you on future Schneps Media webinars. You can learn more about those at schnepsmedia.com/webinars. And keep an eye out for on your email. We'll be sending you more information about all of our fantastic experts. Thank you, everyone. Please, everyone, be healthy, be safe, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.